Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed. I've shown you my heart with every little purr, yet you vote for Dems and I feel betrayed. How could you vote for her? Where's your heart? I ask for so little, but you won't vote Trump. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed. I bring you dead mice, lay them at your feet. Purr softly in your lap, why can't you see? I've shown you my heart with every little purr, yet you vote for Dems and I feel betrayed. How could you vote for her? Where's your heart? I ask for so little, but you won't vote Trump. I sit by the window, wait for you to change, but you look at CNN and I feel so small. How could you vote for her? Where's your heart? I ask for so little, but you won't vote Trump. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed. I've shown you my heart with every little purr, yet you vote for Dems and I feel betrayed. How could you vote for her? Where's your heart? I ask for so little, but you won't vote Trump. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed.
Well, I forgot how to do this in a way that I guess no matter what I do, I can't have myself on there and me singing at the same time. I'd have to do it through OBS, I guess. But that's, I'm gonna have to be drinking while I do this. That's kind of the way it works when you're using this. And Maverick, not going to be joining us here for a little bit. So we have to get rid of the kitty cam. Just going to have this little reminder here. Trying to get you all to send me your money. Send me your money. I am the jobless streamer. I can't do anything without your old hard-earned cash. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I might eventually get some money here from just general streaming that I do. But I think it's gotta get up to like $50 from on Rumble. So it is what it is, chat. It is what it is. So, what should we take a look at first? What should we take a look at first? Let's see if Ricada has spurred down on Twitter. How about that? Or X, rather. We'll see if there's any news from Ricada, and then we'll go to NLO and see what nonsense he's been posting. Gotta share my screen. Jones is the goat. Bodyboard to pick apart stripes. Jones is way too fast. So that was the last thing that he posted on the 17th. He's being quiet, but you should know that his interlocutory appeal got denied. So we had a little bit back and forth with Spectre that went off the rails because Ricada's just I'm not gonna get into that. It appears he has not responded to breaking Boldo news. Let's get that pulled up here. Major breaking Boldo news from 9 hours ago. In the felony case of Ricada Law, the interlocutory appeal for his motion to dismiss has been denied. La 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 la. And for some reason, you're not even looking at it. Yeesh. Rumble. I tell you, sometimes I hate Rumble. Sometimes I hate Rumble. Sometimes so much. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, it has been it has been denied. So sad. So sad. Let's take a look here at exactly what was said. It's weird because I'm trying to do this in a way where I'm going to be able to read it and I can still see for sure that everything's being broadcast the way that it should be. The fellow gets read a law, he's not required to enter a plea next Tuesday. So Tuesday of next week, we will get a plea because he's gonna be required. He's gonna be required to answer this. So let's see what they said here. Based on the final record of proceedings and for the following reasons, petitioner Nicholas Robert Makeda is charged with a second-degree controlled substance crime, unlawful possession of a firearm, and child endangerment based on evidence seized after a search warrant was executed in his residence. He moved to suppress the evidence and dismiss the charges, and he requested an evidentiary hearing under Franks v. Delaware to investigate whether the search warrant application contained material misrepresentation regarding a social media video, among other things. The district court denied petitioner's motion for a Frank hearing and his motion to suppress the charges. Petitioner seeks discretionary review of the district court's order denying his motion for Frank's evidentiary hearing. Petitioner argued that the court should grant discretionary review in the interest of justice because the Franks is important and doubtful, and resolution of the issue would obviate the need for further proceedings. The state has filed no response. Get this, y'all. The state knew. The state knew there was no point in responding. So it didn't even bother. They were like, we pretty much know how this is gonna go. We pretty much know what's gonna happen here. I don't know what that was all about. Sorry. Should be back here shortly. My goodness. I don't know why I thought I was wanting to do anything of the sort, but okay. Technology. It is a bitch. Particularly when all of your technology is old. Okay. Yay! I should be back now. Woohoo! No. Okay. We'll see how long We'll see how long this lasts. But we're back now. So anyway, for the fucking love of God, this is just stupid. This is just stupid. This won't work. I don't know why everybody else, every other streamer I know can do just fine with what I'm trying to do. And seriously, new people don't even have the bullshit issues that I have with trying to get my damn VTuber thing to work right. So we're just gonna have my stupid Venmo thing on there for you to look at, and instead of me. It's fine, whatever. So over this shit. So over it. Okay. Anyway. The state filed no response. Because they knew. They knew there was no point. They knew what was gonna happen. So they didn't even bother. They were like, why? Why should we bother when we know how this is gonna go? Criminal defendants generally do not have a right to appeal until final judgment has been entered. State v. Sheldy. It gives the 585 NW 2D 429 430. And this is something that I think potentially Criminal had mentioned, and maybe some of the other YouTube lawtubers as well. That this didn't really make sense and was probably not going to work the way that he wanted to, and that this type of appeal was normally saved for when your case had already proceeded. So this never really made practical sense for those reasons. But, tried to make it work. And he just didn't. So, okay, but this court may allow an appeal from an order not otherwise appealable in the interest of justice. Okay, so there are circumstances where they allow it. Minnesota R Criminal P 28.02 sub D3 Minnesota's Rules of Civil Appellate Procedure 105 governs procedure for the appeal. In determining whether to grant the review, the court considers multiple factors, including whether ruling is questionable or involves an unsettled area of the law, the importance of the legal issue presented, and whether the legal issue would evade review if the appeal is deferred until the underlying case has been decided. Gordon v. Microsoft. Okay, so that's interesting. So they do have a process for which they decide these things. Generally, discretionary review is only extended for important legal questions. That have broad applicability. See ID at 399 at N7. not really sure what that is. The petitioner must also show a compelling reason for the court to grant discretionary review of a non-appealable order. State v. Jordan 426, NW 2D 495, 496. Petitioner does not explain why the district court's pretrial ruling denying his motion to suppress evidence and for Frank's evidentiary hearing requires the court's immediate review. Petitioner does not explain why the court's pretrial ruling denying his motion to suppress evidence and for Frank's evidentiary hearing requires this court's review. So basically, the lawyers didn't do their shit. This is what it means when your lawyers royally screw up. This is basically what has happened here, chat. And we're going to see here in a minute that potentially criminal Sean comments on Twitter. The question is, why is he still paying these people? Why is he still paying these people when they obviously don't do shit for him? We're assuming that his lawyers are the ones that wrote this and not Nick. But his lawyer is some guy that hung out in his locals. So, yeah. So, yeah, sorry. It's a squirrel that got distracted by something. Although, moreover, the court generally does, wait a minute here. The petitioner did not explain why he didn't immediate review. See Minnesota R. Civ. App P. Require a statement why an immediate appeal is necessary and desirable. Moreover, the court generally does not grant petition for discretionary review of pretrial rulings because the defendant may utilize the procedure in Minnesota RMP 2601 sub D 4, which permits expedited review of a pretrial ruling that is dispositive or would make a contested trial unnecessary. State v. Smith. Stating defendants seeking discretionary review must show why he should not be required to proceed by stipulating to the facts and waiving a jury trial and to obtain review of the procedural trial ruling. While the review would be somewhat delayed by requiring a petitioner to appeal from any final judgment, the pretrial ruling will not evade review. Any defendant's interest in avoiding this time and expense of a trial does not by itself establish a compelling reason to extend pretrial discretionary review. Petitioner has not otherwise shown a compelling reason for this court to extend its discretionary appellate jurisdiction when the pretrial issues are fully reviewable and appeal from any final judgment. It's hereby ordered the petitioner for discretionary review is denied. What if it says on here It doesn't mention who his lawyer is. But his lawyer, I know, is some guy that was in his locals. I hope he keeps them because so far it appears they will make some hilarious bad arguments in court if it goes to not guilty. If that's what his name is. Oh wow, it'll be interesting to see what the state is offering. And here's when Digitally Criminal says, "Well, his attorney's fucked up again." Somebody else said, why would they continue to work with him? The question is, why is Nick still paying them? Grounds for a mistrial: if your lawyer is proven to be incompetent, and potentially everyone says you have to show their performance was deficient and that they had performed properly, it had a reasonable probability that the outcome would be different. It's damn near impossible to prove ineffective assistance of counsel. Can Nick start representing himself and then argue ineffective counsel? I think that, if I remember right, that kind of makes it just as hard. Someone here commented, "What is Nick going to do? Get another lawyer and then back seat defend?" It's obvious when you read the appeal motion to dismiss that Nick had a large influence on what's in it. It has a snitch of wet brain all over it. Let's see if he's posted anything in general. Oh, actually, Criminal posted something interesting here. If Senate Republicans don't confirm Matt Gaetz as Attorney General and Kash Patel as FBI Director, I didn't realize that that's who he was making FBI Director. That's interesting. President Trump should sign an executive order to dissolve the FBI by rescinding the July 28, 1908 order that the FBI calls its founding document. So let's look at that. Sometimes this stuff is, can be interesting because we don't always know the full history of this kind of stuff. And we should try to know these things better. Like, how many people remember the founding document? All matters resolving to investigate under the department extend those to be made by bank examiners and in this is hard to read. It's from Charles J. Bonaparte. Because what it says. No authoritarian of expenditure for special examination shall be made by any officer of the department without first ascertaining whether one of the regular forces is available for the service desired. And in once the service cannot be in case the service cannot be performed by the regular forces of special agents of the department, the matter will be specifically called to the attendance of the Attorney General or Acting Attorney General, together with a statement from the Chief Examiner as to reasons why a regular employee cannot be assigned to the work. The authorization shall be made for the expenditure of any money for this purpose. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that the FBI considered this document here their founding Kevin, thanks for that info. So that's the whole long story about this guy who's lost custody of his kids. What? Oh my gosh.
Nothing. I feel it set with the lead like a monk. I spin fellas, I swing quicker than Federer. I serve pack in the bags bag on the regular. And I'ma tell her how she sing for me T-Pain. Your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click Amazon, bang, I'm a nothing. I feel it set with the lead like a mukbang. The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick, will making that bang like a funk band. Hop in the cab, I'm banging the crossword. Head in the west and I'm banging the push bird. Couple of cans and a puff on me death stick. Click on my fingers, he's cutting me cough there. Bringing the bow bells, bringing the west there. I'm flinging the dry food, bringing the cassette. Belling me non-stop, sending the last set. Hopping me drops up, I'm running the man set. Mr. Big Bucks, I've been looking at business. Strips to kill, mama got me up on the Rick list. Pole position, had a fella running the distance. I'll be banging, giving the triplets. The bigger the bag, the bigger the butt crack. The bigger the chance the birds up in my contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the contract. Serve me up, we give a tip on me top ass. And I've been whipping a wire, popping a Benson. Pushing a pack, the full stack like I'm benching. Giving the fish scale, that's slide like a penguin. Flipping the chick on my bills, why fuck a pension. Slow my vision, I've been puffing the peace bars. Selling free fires to the fiends by the seaside. I'm a tail lines in the seams of my Levi's. With a stack bigger than Nicki Minaj, where you earn. And I'ma tell her how she sing for me T-Pain. Your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click Amazon, bang, I'm a nothing. I feel it set with the lead like a mukbang. The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick, making that bang like a funk band. Hop in the cab, I'm banging the crossword. Head in the west and I'm banging the push bird. Couple of cans and a puff on me death stick. Click on my fingers, he's cutting me cold. Bringing the bow bells, bringing the west there. I'm bringing the dry food, bringing the cassette. Belling me non-stop, sending the last set. Hopping me drops up, I'm running the man set. Mr. Big Bucks, I've been looking at business. Strips to kill, mama got me up on the Rick list. Pole position, had a fella running the distance. I'll be banging, giving the triplets. The bigger the bag, the bigger the butt crack. The bigger the chance the birds up in my contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the contract. Serve me up, we give a tip on me top ass. And I've been whipping a wire, popping a Benson. Pushing a pack, the full stack like I'm benching. Giving the fish scale, that's slide like a penguin. Flipping the chick on my bills, why fuck a pension. Slow my vision, I've been puffing the peace bars. Selling free fires to the fiends by the seaside. I'm a tail lines in the seams of my Levi's. With a stack bigger than Nicki Minaj, where you earn.
So shout out to the Door Brothers, whoever they are. Shout out to Pinchility Criminals, since his ex page is providing us with all the entertainment that we need. So, yeah. Can we see what else? What else does he have that might be interesting? Maybe he's got some hot takes about something. That's a tongue-in-cheek post. So let's see what CNN is announcing. So Kash Patel is interesting. I know he's got quite a bit of experience why have an education secretary if you're thinking that you're going to dissolve the Department of Education? I don't understand. I mean, that's something that seems kind of strange to me. But it may not be all that strange. But if he's going to disband the Department of Education, then you shouldn't. Why should you need her? President Donald Trump has named his transition co-chair Linda McMahon as his pick to serve as next Secretary of the Department of Education. The decision, which Trump announced Tuesday night, confirming CNN's earlier reporting, took shape after it became clear that she would be passed over for Commerce Secretary. He named his other transition co-chair Howard Lutnick as his pick to lead the Commerce Department earlier Tuesday after the Cantor Fitzgerald CEO had thrown his name into the mix for Treasury Secretary, sparking a battle with hedge fund manager Scott Sett. Linda will use her decades of leadership experience and deep understanding of both education and business to empower the next generation of American students and workers and make America number one in education in the world. We will send education back to the states, and Linda will spearhead that effort, Trump said in a statement. So, basically, if the states have a question, it's just going to be, that's up to you. We send it back to the states. You get to decide. Have fun. Or maybe give them guidelines that, hey, this is kind of a rough guideline of what your aim should be, and then you kind of figure it out from there. Because for whatever reason, the states for years have wanted a lot of government oversight of this. They've more than willingly given that up, allowed them to do it. Oh dear. So now he's got something else that he's done within the last 3 minutes that is a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad idea. And will just piss off Russia even more than they already are. Good job, Biden. The Biden administration has approved sending anti-personnel mines to Ukraine for the first time in another major policy shift, according to 2 U.S. officials. The decision comes just days after the U.S. gave Ukraine permission to fire long-range U.S. missiles at targets in Russia, a shift that only occurred after months of lobbying from Kyiv. The U.S. intends for Kyiv to use the anti-personnel mines in the eastern part of the country, where Russian troops have made slow and steady progress against Ukrainian defensive lines. The grinding battle has cost Moscow tremendously, with Ukraine claiming Russia suffered its highest number of casualties this week. But Russia's unrelenting pressure, coupled with shortages in Ukraine manpower and ammunition, has allowed the Russian military to gradually seize more territory. And the reason you gotta realize the shortage in Ukraine manpower is because they've lost so many people. I just don't know. And then there you have a lot of people that managed to flee the country before they all got drafted into the war. You have people like that. And they may not have enough people to keep throwing into the wood chipper. At least that's kind of why I'm understanding. They don't quite have the manpower. Couple of shortages, Ukraine manpower and ammunition, as well as Russia military gradually seized more territory. The U.S. requests Ukraine to use these anti-personnel mines to bolster defensive lines within the sovereign Ukrainian territory, not as an offensive capability in Russia. The U.S. has also sought assurance that Ukraine will try to limit the risk to civilians from the mines. The administration's decision was first reported by the Washington Post. Well, what they have to do is they have to make sure that those mines are deactivated, at some point after the war. And there are other countries that have had to deal with these mines maiming people for decades after the whatever war was over. So it was first reported by the Washington Post. It was the early days of the war. The U.S. provided Ukraine with anti-tank mines to blunt Russia's numerical superiority in armored vehicles. But until now, the Biden administration had not provided Ukraine with anti-personnel mines over concerns about the enduring danger they may pose. Human rights groups have long criticized the use of anti-personnel mines because they can kill indiscriminately and can remain armed for years after the conflict in which they were initially used has ended. In June 2022, 4 months after the start of the war in Ukraine, the Biden administration pledged to limit the use of anti-personnel mines, announcing the decision, which was a reversal from the earlier Trump administration. The White House said there was a need to curtail the use of anti-personnel mines worldwide. The U.S. said it would no longer develop or export anti-personnel mines or would destroy all of its existing stockpiles. The one exception to the policy was South Korea. The announcement of anti-personnel mines for Ukraine, especially with only weeks left in the Biden administration, is a step change on what had been a long-standing policy. The type of mines the U.S. provided to Ukraine will be a non-persistent, according to the officials, meaning they have an internal mechanism to shorten the lifespan of the trigger. The mines are designed to become inert after a set period of time, ranging from as little as 4 hours to 2 weeks. The official said the mines are used in electrical fuse that requires a battery, and the mine becomes inert when the battery runs out. That's interesting. So I guess that could kind of take care of the concern that it would be a long-standing problem. But still, I think it would be, I just think that could still be dangerous. That something could potentially set it off is, ugh. But maybe that's true. The battery runs out and it doesn't have a way of exploding anymore. I don't know. Russia has deployed anti-personnel mines and anti-tank mines since the early stages of the war. As Russia forces advance in Ukraine to establish their own defensive lines, they established minefields to slow any Ukrainian counterattack. Last summer, as Ukrainian forces mounted an ultimately unsuccessful counteroffensive, one Ukrainian official described the density of Russian mines as insane. So I guess we're going to be helping them fight back in much the same way. But it's crazy because all of this is going to get reversed. All this is going to get reversed when Trump takes office. Let's see. So the House is right at 218 apparently. I mean, they've got a majority, but it's a narrow majority. It really is. That's kind of wild to see. This one was real, but not a landslide. Let's see how they're trying to spin this. Because I mean, to me, Donald Trump can claim a lot of things. It's a comeback for the ages for a president to go from pariah after trying to overturn one election to president-elect after the next. Oh, goodness. A rightward shift in election results gives him a mandate to start trying to remake the U.S. government like he promised he would. The Republicans are in control of the U.S. House of Representatives. He'll have control of the entire U.S. government to help him enact change. But Trump cannot claim as a landslide victory, although that's how he will describe it. As of Saturday, Trump is winning the popular vote with a little more than 74.5 million votes, although millions of votes have yet to be counted in California, Washington, and Utah, among others. The final 2024 popular vote tally likely won't be known until December. No, we won't accept it! There won't be a popular vote! No! No, brace yourselves, because it does. No. That's pretty much the way that this screams. No, it's not gonna happen. No. When he lost convincingly in 2020, maybe. You know, it's just one of those things. We are just never going to know for sure because of the way they handled it. Yeah. And when he lost convincingly in 2020, Trump got a little more than 74 million votes. So while it's true that much of the country moved to the right in the election, it's also true that there was some voter apathy if at the end of the day, turnout is down from 2020. Does it mean this will end up being a low turnout election? What? Okay, I'm confused here. So while it's true that much of the country moved to the right in this election, it's also true that there was some voter apathy if, at the end of the day, turnout is down from 2020. This doesn't mean this will end up being a low turnout election. Huh? The University of Florida Election Lab estimates as of Friday the turnout in 2024 will be about 62.3% of the voting eligible population, down from the high water mark in the modern era of more than 66.4% in 2020, but still above other recent elections. Turnout in 1996 and 2000 was not much over 50% of the voting eligible population. In terms of the Electoral College, Trump won 312 electoral votes, a solid win in the lower half of the U.S. presidential elections. What? It was a better showing than either his or Joe Biden's 306 electoral votes in 2016 and 2020, respectively. It also outperformed both of George W. Bush's electoral victories in 2002 and 2004. It was far short of Obama's 365 electoral votes in 2008 and 332 in 2012. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, it doesn't matter because Obama still got more. Yeah. Bill Clinton never reached 50% of the popular vote because both of his presidential elections featured a strong third-party candidates in Ross Perot. But Clinton did run away with the Electoral College vote, winning 370 electoral votes in 1992 and 379 in 1996. Yeah, see, I don't remember all that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's higher. But it's just, I don't know. It's kind of funny how badly they want to make it not a big deal and a reason to celebrate. Ugh. You got to remember that he's talking about people that for sure would have won New York and I'm assuming Washington State, and for sure would have won California. Trump was never going to win those two states. That just wasn't going to happen. But if he had gotten those two states, I mean, let's see here. Let's see what it. It's hard to remember off the top of my head how many electoral votes. That would have given him. Just show me the map, dudes. Okay, here we go. So, the way that it stands now, yeah, 312 to 226. I mean, he still, in my opinion, blew her out of the water. But you gotta remember, he was in no way going to get these 3 states. And is it gonna tell me what they're... Okay, so yeah. You gotta remember, California had 54 electoral votes. There was no way he was gonna win California. So, but I think that when you talk about how others have done, so, they had 54. He would have gotten 8 from Oregon. I mean, you can't do that. You just can't compare at all. We're talking about states that there was no way he was going to get. But, it makes them feel better, And the thing of it is that even if she had gotten the electoral votes from those 3 states, I don't think she would have won. She could have gotten 28 from New York, and then 54. It would have been a lot closer, but she still would not. Well, I wonder how they do it when both of them are over 270. Ultimately, maybe whoever won just has to have more. Let me do the math here. Okay. Let's see here. So she had 226. So with the states that she had now, she was at 226. She still needed over 100 electoral votes. I mean, or well, no, she still needed 46 more to get it. Like, I don't understand it. The big thing that's amazing about this is that everyone thought that this was going to be just one giant blue wall. And it didn't. She could have won Michigan and still not been in 270. If she had won PA, that would have given her an additional 19. That still just would have put her at 260. And she needed to be at 270. But he still ended up with... He still could have won, even if he was missing one of these. Like, he could have not gotten PA and still won because he would have been over 270. So, but it's like they're trying to make an issue out of something that was never going to happen because he was never going to win New York and he was never going to win California. That just wasn't going to happen. And they're somehow trying to say that they want to downplay something that was still pretty damn amazing. People like Bill Clinton only got what he got because he carried a bunch of other states in addition to California and New York. It's like, but they, oh God. Bill Clinton never reached 50% of the popular vote because both of his presidential elections featured a strong third-party candidate in Ross Perot. Yada, yada, yada. But he did run away with the Electoral College votes, winning 300 electoral votes in 1992 and 379 in 1996. Even though strong victories are dwarfed by Ronald Reagan's 1984 win, a true landslide. Reagan lost only Washington, D.C. and Minnesota, the home state of his Democratic rival, Walter Mondale, thereby securing 525 electoral votes and more than 58% of the popular vote. Reagan lost only Washington, D.C. and Minnesota. Both Richard Nixon and Lyndon B. Johnson exceeded 60% in the popular vote for their re-election campaign, something that seems impossible in today's political climate. It's also incredible to think that two such massive landslides would occur within 8 years. Nixon's re-election rival in 1972 and Senator George McGovern lost even his home state of South Dakota and won only Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. It's just like, today's political climate is what makes what Trump managed to do so amazing. Oh, it's not really that big of a deal because Reagan. I guess apparently Reagan won New York and he won California, I guess. But this is kind of where, like, the Electoral College can be kind of a mixed bag. It can keep one state from deciding the election, and other times it seems like that can weigh undue influence on the election, depending on how all the other states vote. So maybe in a weird way, it all ends up balancing out, but they just don't want to give him any fucking credit at all. It's crazy. Just crazy. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a thing that shows all of his picks so far. All of Trump's cabinet picks. So here we go. We have Matt Gaetz, Attorney General. And there is even a popular conservative radio host that I think kind of took over for Rush Limbaugh, that does not think that Matt Gaetz has the votes. So we'll see. John Ratcliffe, CIA Director, Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary. The CIA Director was former Trump National Intelligence Director. So he should be considered more than qualified. Commerce Secretary, Wall Street Executive. Well, I guess he should know a lot about that sort of thing. Defense Secretary, Fox News. It's like they want to completely ignore all of his military service. They'd be like, you wouldn't want him running Walmart. What an insult to all our veterans. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, former U.S. Representative. Chris Wainwright, Energy Secretary. He is an oil executive. I guess if anybody should understand the energy sector, someone who's an oil executive should be. And he is definitely going to, make decisions that support the oil industry. Lee Zeldin, EPA Administrator, former U.S. Representative to New York. Don't know what makes him eligible for that, but we'll see. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Health and Human Services Secretary. Whew. My dad has issues with that because of his pro-abortion stance and his anti-gun stance. But as far as the abortion thing goes, that's been handed back to the states. So his hands are tied at the moment that he can't do anything to, wield that, to do any damage there. And he has no authority over guns. So, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, former Governor of South Dakota, soon to be, right now she still is. Doug Burgum, Interior Secretary, Governor of North Dakota. I have no idea what makes you eligible to know about Interior Secretary. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, former U.S. Senator. Sean Duffy, Transportation Secretary, Fox News host, former U.S. Representative. Elise Stefanik, UN ambassador, currently U.S. representative in New York. Doug Collins, Veteran Affairs Secretary, former U.S. representative, Georgia. Susie Wiles, White House Chief of Staff. So that's where we stand so far. And I'm not a political expert, but I think kind of unlike my dad, I'm willing to give all of these people a chance. I think that they at least deserve a chance that they're going to follow Trump's agenda. And the thing of it is, we know that from firsthand that if he thinks that they're out of line, that they're not doing what they want him to do, he's gonna fire them. So they've got to know by now that they can either play ball or they don't have a job. You would kind of think that they understand that. So. I wonder if NLO is doing a stream right now. Let's see. Oh, there's a car chase. Now he's just got his 24/7 stream. I don't want to steal Smoke and Scan's thing here. Oh, with legal mindset address, I bet he's doing. Oh, I bet his thing is a members only thing, and that's why we're showing him as live. But when we go over there, we're not seeing it because it's probably members only.
Welcome to BLM.
Let's see if we can find car chase. He could be watching something that's a rerun. That's all this kid stuff. This is strange. Maybe if I go over to Smoke and Stand. Car crashing into roof. What the fuck?
People love the Renewal by Anderson installers. Learn what else they love,
How did
including
it end up on the
Julia Dang
roof?
is up in News Shopper 4 with the very latest here. Julia.
Hey there, Jonathan. Not how we want to see these pursuits. And, you know, every time we cover these high-speed chases, we talk about the innocent bystanders who can be hurt. In this case, the bystander was
News
a
Shopper
home
4.
during the
Let's see
4200 block of Sawtell Boulevard. Now, what we know from CHP is that this pursuit started about 4 or 5 miles from here near LAX. It was northbound on the 405.
Julia Dang is up in News Shopper 4 with the very latest here. Julia.
Hey there, Jonathan. Not how we want to see these pursuits. And, you know, every time we cover these high-speed chases, we talk about the innocent bystanders who can be hurt. In this case, the bystander was a home during the 4200 block of Sawtell Boulevard. Now, what we know from CHP
Oh,
is
this
that
was 2 days ago. I'm not even looking at the right thing here. Let's try and...
Not gone. It was one car that everybody was stealing.
Oh yeah, he's looking at something that was from earlier in the day.
What's up, Mr. BC? All right, post time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the post time for round 4. I think it's 4.
This was something earlier in the day. This is it. This is old. We want new things. We want new things. Okay. Oh, this is something we need to look at. So apparently, let's look at a list of clips here. Steel and Torn Morning Show. Whew. Huh. She's a little bit behind here in some things. I might have to go to the Doom first here. And then go from there. So something happened.
You can never be in Jalen's shoes.
With on the Steel Torn Morning Show that caused
With Circle the
Johnny
on the all-new Pixel 9 series.
quite upset. I'm gonna have to wait for this stupid commercial.
Doom is a minimum. Where is he? Where is he?
I had to take the day off of the Steel Toe show because joking about my voting stuff, which didn't bother me, someone brought up the subject of benefits or something like that, and that's where it went weird on me because of a personal issue that I'm still dealing with. But yeah, as for this morning, what the deal is with that is just my health situation ongoing is shitty, and I don't want to talk too much about like specifically what's going on with it because I don't want to like speak things into reality. Not that that's a real thing. I'm gonna say this now. Like, if people make fun of me for this morning, like that's fine. You know, I got emotional and I broke down, and that's fine. Like, I don't expect anyone. I didn't ask Aaron to take the episode down or anything. I fully expect people, especially if I've been making fun of them, to make fun of me. That's fine. But yeah, the biggest thing was I wanted to I didn't want to just not do a show and then everybody who doesn't watch that show, we catch up. We support you, Johnny. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I wanted to get over here and hang out with you guys for a bit. We have a couple stories. We can talk about some stuff. Maybe let you guys throw in some links. Just kind of talk about shit. But yeah, so I'm in a fight. Let's call it that. I'm in a battle, and it's going so-so, and nervous, and lots of stuff riding on it. So when I think about where I could be if like the literal gist of it. If we could have just kept the medical stuff going and never lost the medical benefits, I wouldn't need any assistance benefits or anything like that. I'd be working like a regular person. This piece of shit might still be a piece of shit, but that'd be it. King Kong Dog Johnny, whose kneecaps do I need to pop? Nobody's. It was the same thing as the last time I broke down. I've just got a lot of stress about stuff that I don't want to bring up on the air and bum people down with, and some things that are like, I don't want to talk it into reality, as up as that sounds. So I don't really tell people stuff. In the case of Imholt, he knows only because he's on the NTB list. Or NT... need to be... NTBT list. Need to be told. So that's it. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Interesting name. Need to know basis. I mean, I suppose need to know list. Yeah, whatever it is. Whatever it's called. There's a certain group of people that need to be aware of possibilities in case of shit kind of thing. The rest of it, I'm like, I'm not going to put it out there and make that a thing. But yeah, so I'd offer Johnny a green card when I'm getting free health care, but I'm still in debt for my ex's. And apparently she's running a green card racket. Well, that's the funny part about all of this. Like, the big upsetting thing for me is right now my condition is quote unquote managed, right? But I have what's called relapsing remitting MS with secondary progression, and it's that last part that's the kicker. But because of that up-down stuff I said about earlier, if we could have just kept me on medications, not cycled me through a bunch of them because of going up and down, and kept the damage to a minimum, the secondary progression goes much, much slower because the secondary progression functions based on the amount of damage I've suffered. And my body can't take more damage, and it's just... And now we are in, as some doctors would call it, the red zone, which means we've got nowhere else to go. We've got to hold it together here for now. I'm literally on the last medication. So, and it just, yeah, if we had, if things were different, like if the healthcare stuff I had now, if there was a way I could have had that before, or if the state or the government wouldn't take away my health care when I got a job every time, yeah, we might not have spent 10 years going... Right, buddy, but the up-down treatment in the past meant it's much further than it could have been. That sucks, John. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Stuff. Not going to lie, we find out about my wife's in a week from tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to it. JB Contrarian, if I can reassure you of several things. There are several factors that matter when it comes to MS. Matters to age, matters the location of the MS, and the rate of progression. Those are the big
EMS.
factors. So if you're young and you've caught it early and you can slow the rate of progression,
that I did not
or
know.
halt it entirely, relapsing remitting is probably the best way to go in terms of if you're going to have a type. Hey, dog, how's it hanging? Short, shriveled, and to the left. Sorry, I'm just imagining. My neighbor's wife was bipolar, among other things, with Champus from the military. They did similar, got her stable, then cut her treatment, then another crisis event, rinse, repeat. Right. In 09 Canyon, the state and federal government played that yo-yo game with me until we hit what they qualify as automatic pass marks. So once I hit in a wheelchair state, then it's an automatic pass mark. Just like bobbers in the creek, up, down, it's all good, man. Don't apologize. I should apologize. I don't even remember who it was that I was like, fuck off. But that was mean of me. Like, I was fine with the ripping on me for not voting thing. It was literally that someone brought up the like, you didn't vote and you enjoy your freaking whatever benefits. It's like, I don't want them. If I just had the medical stuff, we'd be so much better off. But yeah. And it's when you start uttering things that you've thought for a while.
I wonder what's going on with
or
the,
at least try
the coloring
to.
here.
Say
I don't know
something
if it's
like,
something that
if we had
Doom
managed
did,
this better 10 years
or
ago,
if
I wouldn't have the will I be here
Johnny has a
next
filter
year
that
kind
doesn't
of
work.
situation that I do. So that's just the enjoying my benefits part. I didn't realize that would set me off. And I didn't realize how emotional I'd get when I would try to literally utter the phrase, if I if I could have had my condition properly covered and managed from the jump, 10 years of mismanagement is more than a decade's worth of time on my clock. It's kind of shitty.
Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that like button.
So let's see exactly what apparently happened here. This will help us figure out, I guess, kind of what actually happened. I'm just gonna skip that.
Buy one, get one famous bowls from KFC, only on Uber Eats. Order now.
Nomo calling you old stolen valor Johnny. Wow.
I've never, ever claimed to be a member of the military.
Wow, we're calling you stolen valor.
That's what stolen valor is. I'll just say you served in the military. I've never, ever made that claim or presumption. In fact, I've repeatedly told people that I'm not in the military. One time as a DJ, I went to a bar. They just got done doing a party for a veteran. They had burgers and stuff.
And you were the DJ?
And I was setting up my DJ shit, and they assumed I was a veteran because I came in with my wheelchair and all that stuff. So they started bringing food over to me and stuff. And they're like, where did you serve? And I told them I didn't. They picked everything up and took it away.
Oh, shit.
So, again, I've never, all I would have had to be like is like, oh, yeah, dude. Like, I could have just said I was in the Army or whatever, and I could have gotten a free burger. And I literally, like, it was the funniest. I laughed at it because, you know, you came over to a crippled person who's setting up his DJ stand to play music for the night, and you brought him food and you set it down in front of him. But because you assumed he was a soldier and he wasn't, when he corrected you, you took it away. Like, I think you should have asked that before bringing the food, at least.
Yeah.
If you're going to take it away.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying you're the true hero. I get it.
I'm saying I was the victim. And
Badge Scab says unsubscribing from Johnny's show since he didn't vote. See, Johnny, not exercising your rights, it can cost you. It can lose you.
Yeah, that's a shame. I don't think Badge Scab was subscribed in the first time. I've never seen that name in the chat.
Marble Arm says I was going to not vote also, but then I decided not to be a puss. Aw, shit, dude. Marble Arms just called you a puss. You gonna take that?
Yep.
I mean,
I didn't vote.
I hate it when people don't vote. I mean, I view your right to vote as something that it could be too easily taken from you if you don't exercise it. If everybody took the attitude that he did, then I think we would, we would be in a very, very different country. I mean, things aren't considered great with our government as is. But I worry about what would happen if, they make it easier for them to pass a law saying, well, nobody wants to vote anyway, so let's just do away with voting. And the government bureaucrats decide who's in office instead of the people.
I guess I'm a pussy.
Pistachio says, Johnny, I think you should lie about your disability and enlist in the Marine Corps. You look like a crayon eater. I love how he thinks you can just lie about your... I love that. That's a funny joke. You just lie about your MS. You come in there, you're still gimped out and everything, but you're like...
Wheeling in on the chair.
I'm totally fine. I'm okay.
Or the walker. And it's just, no, this is just a bit I'm doing.
Bunions. Chips and dip. Yeah, they said, where did you serve? You should have said the Olive Garden. See?
There we go.
That would have been a funny one. I would have laughed. I would have thought it was good. Dive Bar says you vote because people died so you could have the right to vote. You vote so they didn't die in vain. Way to go, buddy. Way to shit all over veterans. Did you hear what you just
vote
did?
so they didn't die in vain.
Yeah.
So if I go in, I should just start blanket voting for people that I don't care about or don't believe in, or vote for some. Again, no, I don't need to do that.
Why don't you?
That's
Well,
not
okay,
okay.
then you know what? We'll do something else. I'll pick you up today. We'll drive down to Snelling, Fort Snelling Cemetery, and you just go piss on everybody's grave. How's that?
I mean, that seems like a lot.
Nick
I don't
Ricada told me I could piss on their grave. Let's go to Gustav with $9.99. $5. Yeah, dude, Henry
Right?
Ford.
And if we had treated my condition as a preventative care thing, I literally would be as mobile as this asshat over here.
No, you're one of the heroes. We get it.
No, I'm not. No, this pisses me off.
I'm just kidding.
This legit pisses me off. If the f***ing medical system wasn't, hey, we won't help you, and the medicine is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and you can't afford it on your own, I wouldn't have gone into severe debt and gone up and down in health like a yo-yo, and I wouldn't be in a wheelchair right now.
I'm confused. What do you mean? Like they didn't?
I mean, I worked like a regular person in a kitchen, and I didn't have coverage because I didn't qualify for coverage. I didn't have medical care. Insurance companies wouldn't give me medical care because, oh, you've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and you're a line cook? That. So I couldn't get medical coverage or any coverage I could afford. So I would work and get sick to the point where I would lose my job and go into the hospital and be pretty much medically hospitalized. I would then lose my job, get benefits from the county and the state, get medical treatment and coverage, rehabilitate myself, get back to work, lose that coverage because I no longer qualify for it because I'm working, and then be told, well, you can get workman's comp. So there you go. This was back before Obamacare, any of that shit. And I was, again, denied or extremely inflated prices on any insurance I would try to get because I had a pre-existing condition. That went back and forth for 10 years until finally I qualified through the state to get disability because I was ground down to a wheelchair. And if we simply didn't have that system, I wouldn't.
Is this why you didn't vote?
Yeah, fuck this country.
I'm just dude, I'm kidding. It got really uncomfortable, so I'm trying to make it funny. Trying to make it light. This country, dude. Holy shit. Are we going to get... I want to see Johnny turn off his camera. He turns it back on, and he's dressed like Nikolai Volkov. he's got like the Soviet hat, like the fur hat on, and he's got like the CCCP T-shirt. Like,
but
Iran
it's
number
like,
one, America Hak Tui.
If you're not voting for the change that you want, I don't know. If that played a role in his not voting, I guess I kind of understand it. But it's like, again, if you want the policies to be changed, you got to be active in the process. People being active in the process, while it took a long time, is why we got eventually Obamacare and we did away with the pre-existing conditions. I do not have healthcare. I have to go to the marketplace. People say a lot of bad things about having to go through the Obama marketplace thing. For me, it's been a blessing. It's worked out pretty well. I don't get it for free. I do pay something. But yeah. It's tough.
Is he coming back? Is he leaving? I thought we were just busting his balls about not I thought we were just busting balls about not voting. I remember Howard Like when Artie Lang threw shit at Teddy and they got in a fight in the studio, and Howard's like, I missed it. I don't know. How did it get there? I thought we were having fun. Like, I feel the same way as Howard always does. I'm like, I missed it. I thought we were joking around. I thought we were having fun about Johnny. I thought Johnny didn't care about not voting. So I thought we could bust his balls about the not voting thing. Jonesy the Cat says, what a fucking douche. Aaron's not a real friend to Johnny. I don't know what I did. I just wanted to run with the not voting thing. I didn't think he gave a shit about the not voting thing. And then and then I was confused because he said the government him on the MS thing. And I wanted to know what he meant by that. And now all of a sudden we got one of those promos where the tag team partner just walks off the stage, and now I've got to wrestle Kane in the Big Show by myself. I didn't.
Bring me
Somebody
on.
says, and Aaron wonders why all of his co-hosts left. He makes fun of them. I didn't make fun of him.
It wasn't Aaron making fun of me. Just.
Stupid commercials.
Come on. You can't guard Giannis, right? Well, now you can. With the all-new Pixel 9 series with Adney.
So my wife got me this weird new kitchen knife as a Christmas gift. God, I love her.
I thought we were having fun with the voting
I'm just pissed off
thing.
with people that, like I said.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I get anti-Semitic. It helps.
It's not an anti-Semitic thing.
Yeah, you don't think so. You tell me exactly what your issues are, and I'll play the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, and we'll get it there. I bet you I can get it there. Here, name me a drug company you're mad at. I can do it in one step.
It's literally all of them. So
name the legislation you're upset with. I can find the guy behind it. I can get it in one step. Oh, man. Someone writes in the chat, Day One Salt writes, another win for the toe.
Yep.
I laugh away the awkwardness is what I do. Hey, I have an idea. After that, hey, by the way, and scene, The Prestige. Oh, the best performers in the business. Knock out that 150 for us, and that'll make this a lot more comfortable.
So apparently it was.
Look at it. I'm throwing my whole body. It's not just my
made.
hands that are getting gay now. It's my entire body
And he wasn't understanding
is getting in
that.
on the action. I know what'll make you feel better, Johnny. You want to watch You want to watch Jen Psaki?
Oh, double down and tell us that we have to be more woke.
Yeah, if you're nicer to the trans people, you're going to win more elections. That's all you got to do. Dive Bar with $2 says, Johnny, sorry, I was just busting your balls.
Get
what? What's Dive Bar really mean? I don't keep track of who's saying what.
There was no new boot goofing in there, and I don't. Yeah, whatever. I'm just tired of explaining it.
Was he mad? Was he making fun of you for voting? Again, I miss all this shit. I just saw voting.
I don't know. I don't even remember. I texted you about this last weekend. I don't.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't think it was about that. I thought they were just making fun of you for the voting thing. Because you said you didn't vote, and I thought they were just busting your balls about that. That's what I mean when I say I missed it. Like, I know other shit isn't going great, and you're doing your best, you're doing a good job. But I wouldn't have, pushed the voting thing if I knew that was going to be part of the... I didn't see the voting thing.
No, the voting thing wasn't it. I don't remember what switched it to that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can't tell me, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where it switched to that, but again, with the voting thing and just everything else, I don't know. I gotta go.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. You come back tomorrow then. Do you think you'll be on at 2:00 today? We can plug that.
I don't know.
All right. Well, take it easy, and if you need anything, get in touch. Oh, you left. Yeah, I mean, look. It's over. I mean, yeah, he's going through a tough time. I don't want to talk about Johnny and I's private conversations, but he did bring it up. Yeah, Johnny is having a tough time. Johnny's got it rough, obviously, but if I would have known that talking about the voting thing was going to lead to that. I wouldn't have.
It was.
I
It
just
was
thought it was
comments that
funny
people
because
were
Johnny
making
said,
in the chat, apparently about him not voting, but still being willing to take care of the benefits. And the problem of it is that he's gotten screwed over when it comes to benefits. And I know a little bit about what that is like. There have been times when I've had to deal with benefits, and there's benefits from the states, and then there's been times where I've been able to go without getting benefits. And you can get fucked over very, very easily.
Didn't vote, and I knew. As soon as he said that, I was like, the fans are going
fucked
to,
over when you're in
they're going
a
to have fun with
situation
that,
where you're
And
just
then,
you're a family of one.
in comes more and more
Someone who
of the, you didn't vote jokes. And I'm
has
like,
kids,
these are
and
funny.
even if
These
they
are,
maybe
simple enough.
are married,
And then I think when you're going through the stuff that
if only
Johnny's
one of
going
them is
through,
able to work
nobody can really
and has
know when that's
a very
going to
just
happen.
basic, simple job at, say, I don't know, Walmart, that's not giving you really enough to live on, then that person is going to likely get benefits. Whereas somebody like me, who's working 40 hours, single person, doesn't have, any other source of income. Where somebody like me, I don't qualify for anything, and that sucks because you're like, I pay taxes, for everybody else to get these benefits. I pay into it, but I'm just a family of one, so too bad, so sad. I get the frustration, but yet, in certain situations where you've got someone like Johnny that's not going to be able to work a normal job, are we wanting those people to end up homeless because we think that government handouts are just also evil? Like, how does that strengthen our society? How does that make our society better? If someone like Johnny, who doesn't deserve to be on the streets, ends up out on the streets because he doesn't get any assistance. He should have been able to get declared disabled a long time ago. And I think now the way that it is, like, you have something like MS, and I'm pretty sure it's kind of an automatic, you're disabled. Because it's not, it's just not going to be long before you're in a situation where you can't work at all. And I think that it's probably easier to manage your symptoms if you're not working, even. So
I'm not going to read that on the. Oh shit.
He has my sympathies.
Yeah, well, that's too bad. Yeah, I just want to say to you, with the text I just got, I just want to say to you guys too, you didn't do anything wrong either. You guys didn't cause that. That's just, look, life is tough. People who deal with diseases like that, they've got it tough. And think about when you're having a shitty day and you really have no reason to have a shitty day, compared to what Johnny's going through. And you won't be able to shake out of it. You'll just be a kind of a prick and kind of crabby and shitty all day. And you really have no reason to, but you still are that way. Now add a reason to feel that way on top of it. It's not even what people are saying that could be the problem. It's just you get in a certain way, and you're not going to get it. You know you're not going to get out of it. So you're just like, I got to tap out. I get it. Eaton Clam says, I somehow feel responsible for this. I'd like to send Johnny an edible arrangement. No, I don't even think Johnny's blaming anybody. I think people just started. It's tough because, like, okay, so like the Gorilla Cum stuff will be funny. The futon thing will be really funny. What did we bust his balls for yesterday? Oh yeah, his channel getting people in his chat telling him his channel got shut down. He was having a lot of fun with that. So then you go with the no voting thing, and you're like, well, that's another really funny thing to kind of have a good time with. And then it turns out that becomes the straw that breaks the camel's back that day. That's just tough. It's tricky. I feel bad saying, guys, we only have a half hour left and $150 left in the goal. Let's see if we can knock that out and do some overtime. Mr. Pay Pallington says, give Johnny the rest of the cash that comes in. Well, I'll tell you what. We cover our nut, as Kevin says. If we go over that 150 today, yes, everything over the goal today will go towards Johnny. So, yeah, someone in the YouTube chat goes, over the goal, what a prick. I'm sorry, I still have to be able to pay Johnny, and that's where part of that goal goes to.
Hi, it's Mark Barden from Sandy Hook Promise, and I'm asking for your help to demand that Congress expand back.
So, yeah,
well,
he wasn't. Everyone. I don't want to watch him so long. He wasn't understanding that it was comments that people were making in chat. So, yeah. But he does have a challenge with getting over emotional and allowing his emotions to get the better of him. And maybe that's part and parcel, maybe. Having MS, maybe you have a harder time with your emotions. That could be a symptom. So this was him doing. Well, maybe we do want to watch Uncivil Law. So this is where.
Welcome back to Uncivil Law. For today's story, we turn into our ever-continuing case of Nick Rekieta versus the state of Minnesota. Nick Rekieta, as you may recall, requested permission to appeal. He didn't have the right to appeal. He asked, can I appeal? And the Court of Appeals is like, no, you can't appeal. Duh. Like, duh. Just no shit. I mean, come on. It was absurd. It was ridiculous. And the Court of Appeals dealt with it fairly summarily because, it's insane. We turn our attention to the state of Minnesota and the Court of Appeals of the state of Minnesota versus Nick Rekieta. Special term order pursuant to law. This order, as you can see in the footnote, is non-precedential except as to law of the case, which is it's binding onto itself in its own case. It's not binding into any other case. Res judicata, which is kind of the same principle, and collateral estoppel, which is basically the same principle. Basically, it's confined to this case and anything you would want to try to bring as an associated case. So if you tried to somehow bring some other case that tried to attack this from the side, then this would be precedential there. But otherwise, not so much, because there's nothing new here. Why would it be precedential? That would be really dumb. Considered and decided by the chief judge, who apparently decided to sit on this thing, and some other people. The petitioner, Nick Rekieta, is charged with second-degree controlled substance crime, unlawful possession of the firearm while being a user of drugs, or in possession there too at least, and child endangerment, in so much as the children were present at a place in which children were present. So this is just the children were present at a place in which the drugs were present. This is not related to child services, nor is it related to the drugs that may or may not have been found in the kids' hair. This charge is solely that the kids are there at a place in which drugs are. That's it, which is proven by the fact we found drugs and we found kids. So that's easy. He moved to suppress the evidence to dismiss the charge and request an evidentiary hearing under Franks. Go away. To investigate whether the search warrant application contained, and here's the key, material misrepresentation regarding social media photos, among other things. No, it's not material. No one cares. The district court denied petitioner's motion for the Franks hearing and his motion to suppress. Petitioner seeks discretionary review. In other words, Court of Appeals, I know I don't have the right, but would it be cool with you if I appealed anyway? I know I don't have the right to, but I'd really like to, if you don't mind. No. Of the district court's order denying his motion for the Franks. Petitioner argues this court should grant its discretionary review in its largesse in the interest of justice because the Franks issue is important and doubtful, lol, and resolution of the issue would obviate the need. The state has not filed a response. That's how you know how shit it is. That's how you know how shit it is. The state of Minnesota didn't even bother filing a response to the request for the appeal because it's absolute shit. The state of Minnesota didn't even bother filing a response. They literally couldn't be bothered because it's bullshit. Right. And we don't need to tell the Court of Appeals that. They know. Great. Criminal defendants generally do not have the right to appeal until final judgment. Hey, once you're convicted and sentenced, you can appeal then if you want. But a court may allow an appeal from an order not otherwise appealable in the interest of justice. During a prior stream, I gave you some incidences where that might be true. For example, it's extraordinary. It's novel. There's otherwise not an avenue to appeal. Appeal after the trial would basically be moot. Or we just want to beat up the lower court, right? Those would be the kind of things we're looking for. The Minnesota Rules of Civil Appellate Procedure govern the procedure for the appeal. In determining whether to grant or discretionary review, this court considers multiple factors, including whether the ruling is questionable or involves an unsettled area of law. There would be that novel question thing I mentioned before, right? When I was looking at highlights, like unsettled. Oh, in other words, it's novel. Oh, yeah. The importance of the legal issue presented. Oh, like it's extraordinary importance, extraordinary impact, that kind of thing. And whether the legal issue would evade review. Oh, like there is no other opportunity to review, like those three factors. Wow. The Court of Appeals is laying out almost the exact same three factors I laid out. Plus the fourth factor they didn't mention, we just really like to beat up on the trial court that day. But otherwise, they mentioned the exact same three factors I mentioned. It's extraordinary. It's novel. There would be no effective means of review. And the Court of Appeals is like, yeah, that's normally why we do it. No shit. No shit, that's normally why you do it. And none of those things are here. Generally, discretionary review is only extended to important legal questions that have broad applicability. Does that sound like extraordinary? It certainly sounds like extraordinary. Broad applicability. Really important. Wow. It's almost like we're talking the same language. It's amazing. The petitioner must also show a compelling reason for this court to grant discretionary review. Why is it really, really important that we do this right now? Anyone have any ideas? Petitioner does not explain why the district court's pretrial ruling denying his motion to suppress and for Frank's hearing requires this court's immediate review because, again, it's a day that ends in Y. They do this all the time. It's literally something that happens every day. So why is your thing really important? It's not. Moreover, this court generally does not grant petitions for discretionary review of pretrial because defendants may utilize the procedure which permits expedited review of a pretrial ruling that is dispositive or make a contested trial unnecessary. So if it's a dispositive issue, maybe we'll allow you appeal, maybe if you ask real nicely. Although review would be somewhat delayed by requiring petitioners to appeal from any final judgment, the pretrial ruling will not evade review. In other words, we can look at this once the conviction happens, right? There is nothing stopping the Court of Appeals from reviewing this and determining whether or not the district court screwed up or the trial court screwed up during the appeal. So, we can make this determination later. We're going to determine, by the way, the trial court was within its discretion. Spoiler alert. But we won't tell you that now. All we'll tell you is that we could review it later. We're still going to say no later, but we're not going to tell you that part right now. And defendant's interest in avoiding time and expensive trial does not by itself establish a compelling reason, because if it did, then we would have to extend it to every single pretrial decision by necessity, and that would be really, really dumb, because that would just be judicially inefficient. Petitioner has not otherwise shown a compelling reason for this court to extend its discretionary appellate jurisdiction when the pretrial issues are fully reviewable. In other words, ask us after you're convicted. Ask us after you're convicted. We'll let you know what the answer is. By the way, the answer is the trial court was within its discretion. But, we can wait for that for a later day. Hereby order, the petition is denied. Yeah. So, no surprises there. Absolutely no surprises. This motion was less likely than the Franks motion. That's how dumb this was. It was so dumb the state didn't even bother to respond. That's how dumb it was. Because it made no logical sense. So, no shit, you can't do this. So I believe the next thing that's supposed to happen is, I believe the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, there is a hearing at which there's supposed to be a plea conference of some kind. The ultimate result of that would either be we have an agreement or we're scheduling for trial. So there's supposed to be a meeting between the prosecution and the defense. I suppose maybe a come to Jesus meeting of some kind. And presumably at that time, if there is a plea deal to be offered, not that the prosecution can be forced to, but if there's a plea deal to be offered, it would be offered and it could be accepted or rejected or negotiated at that time. So I don't know what the state is prepared to do here or not. To me, it's a dead simple case to prove. It's easy. You put the cop on the stand. You ask them to walk through the body cam footage. You ask them what they found. You put the lab tech on the stand. What did you find? They were drugs. You're done, right? It's a case that can be done in a morning. I can do this entire case before lunch. It's easy. It's easy. I can do the entire prosecution and rest all before lunch. I need half a day, and I can do it without breaking a sweat. And then what does the defense have? Jack shit. Because what are they going to do? They got nothing. So, put people on the stand to say he doesn't have drugs in his house. I don't even know what that would look like, even in principle. I mean, the only other thing that you could do is for Nick, of course, to take the stand in his own defense, which, of course, would be hilarious. But, doesn't really make any sense anyway. So, yeah. So the only reason the state really has to offer a plea deal is efficiency.
Yeah.
That's really the only motivation of the state at this point is efficiency. Plus, if they're just feeling soft. So the only real reasons they have to offer are, because we don't really like prosecuting drug offenders, we're feeling generous. We want to do something because you're a first-time offender and we don't like seeing first-time offenders, and, we believe that, you can make it, and, we're a relatively generous prosecution. We don't really like to see people, banged up by the system. So their largesse is one motivation, and their other motivation to offer a plea is time, efficiency, and certainty. Not that they're lacking in any of those things, because, again, it's dead simple. But still, you have to put the two cops on the stand plus the lab tech, and there is time and prep, and there's still some possibility that something could go wrong, so blah, blah, blah. So in the name of largesse and certainty, those are your motivations to offer a deal. Of course, those are only like motivations to offer a deal. assuming one is even available. The prosecution is under no particular obligation to offer a deal. But, maybe, depending, although Nick certainly hasn't been helping with that effort. The things he's been saying and things he's been doing, I'm sure many of those things have come to the attention of the prosecuting's office. So Nick certainly has been ingratiating himself, I would imagine. But, then again, it's Thanksgiving. So maybe we're in a good spirit that day. So if they say that there's a plea deal, it won't surprise me. If they say there's no plea deal, it won't surprise me. So, and in terms of what kind of plea deal would be available, I honestly don't know what kind of plea deal would be possible. 5th degree, maybe like baseline felony, and maybe do some drug treatment at this time. I honestly don't even know what's available. So it depends how gracious they're feeling that day. I seriously doubt a misdemeanor's on the table. I think if there ever was the possibility for a misdemeanor, which, it is a first-time drug offense, and, it is personal possession, and it's not the first time someone's been caught up with drugs. So it wasn't like exactly ridiculous. But then again, it was a 2nd-degree felony. So you are trying to move pretty far. But assuming there ever was the possibility for a misdemeanor on the table, I somewhat doubt that possibility still remains. But you never know. Maybe they're feeling really, really generous. Maybe they want to like give him like something really, really good just to feel like they did a good thing that day. Who knows? But I think my bet is on it probably doesn't settle. But if it does settle, hey, that's fine. And then it's just, of course, whatever they agree to at that point. So, yeah, we'll see. It was a fair amount of cocaine. It was 26 grams. 28 grams is an ounce. So it's it's pretty close to an ounce. It's a fairly substantial amount of cocaine. No one is denying this. No one is denying this. But it's Minnesota. Maybe their prosecutors, friendly to the drug users, and they probably do have bigger fish to fry, to be honest. So, who can say? Who can say? But, maybe he gets off with a fairly generous deal. If he walks out of this thing with somehow not a felony on his record, though, then that would be really awesome for him. So if he manages to somehow walk away with this thing without a felony, that'd be great. But I'm not super optimistic. I think the odds don't favor him. But it's a realistic possibility. Unlike this bullshit that he filed. Unlike the "will you please consider my appeal?" Right? Unlike the "please will you consider my appeal?" That was some bullshit.
Yeah.
And the Franks hearing was some pretty big bullshit. Although not as big as this. So the Franks hearing was bullshit. This was like bullshit squared. The possibility of some sort of plea deal, potentially even not including a felony, is less bullshit.
Not sorry.
It's less bullshit. But a lot of it depends on the largesse of the prosecutor, which once again, given the statements that he's been making and also statements he's made in the past and generally probably not, exactly following the guide to how to win friends and influences people, I don't know that largesse is necessarily a factor that's really going well in his favor, but you never know. Maybe that Thanksgiving spirit is just really percolating through the prosecutor's office that day. Who can say?
Trying to figure out if my sound is actually working.
Yeah. Nick will do anything to tie down the process. Also, not for nothing, but, irritating the judge and or the prosecutor with borderline frivolous motions, or to be quite honest, if I'm honest about it, frivolous. Although that is a 4-letter word to an attorney, so I use it advisedly, but it's pretty frivolous. But yeah, these motions aren't helping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Recade's appeal being denied is about as shocking as ice being cold. Yeah. Yeah. So, and if we do and if he turns down.
I mean, at this point, we have no reason to believe that he's going to try and take a deal at this point.
Whatever
We
plea
have
deal
no
is
reason to
on
believe that
offer,
whatsoever.
I guess we're going all the way, in which he will be certainly convicted, unless the prosecutor, has a brain aneurysm in the middle of trial or something.
Someone would have to do something like
it's a
really,
dead simple prosecution.
They would have had
Any
to
lawyer
screw
could do
something
it
up
in their
pretty
sleep.
bad.
I could do it in my sleep. It's easy. It's easy. It's like
Nick has said that he has the video of the interviews and that it's gonna prove that the children were coerced in some way. But
just remember to ask the cop, where the house was, so you don't forget to prove venue, or something dumb like that, and you'll be fine. I don't know what he's trying to do in terms of his motivation. I don't know. Of course, we still have his wife's thing that we're still waiting to hear. His wife filed a motion to suppress on sufficiency grounds, although she so far has not provided any reasons. So we're still waiting to read her brief. I don't have a lot of hope in that, but it's still better than whatever Nick came up with, which of course leads to the possibility that the case would be dismissed against his wife, but not against him, which would be really hilarious. I mean, I think that's very unlikely, because I think that it's, as I said before, I think the warrant's essentially unattackable. But, if somehow she pulls a miracle and gets sufficiency grounds to get the case dismissed against her, and the case isn't dismissed against him, that'd be pretty hilarious. And as for April, I don't know what happens with her case. I don't know. The evidence against her is slightly more tangential, so I might actually have to work for it a little bit for her case. But yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, to me, it seems like the evidence is the same.
That's about all I have on this case, because there's not really much else to say right now. Appeal request denied. I told you. And all that's left is, will you show some mercy on me? The credit cards tie her to the drugs. The credit cards are suggestive. The credit cards are certainly suggestive.
Yeah.
It's just not quite as much a give me as it is against Nick and his wife. With Nick and his wife, it's a gimme. With April, it's very slightly more tangential. So it's not quite as easy. It's not. I mean, it's pretty damn easy. It's just not quite as easy. House beats credit cards. Yeah, the problem there is the constructive possession. It's his house. Did you know he lives there? It's his house. The problem is the constructive possession. And April doesn't live there, or at least it hasn't been proven that she lives there. And she didn't make the trap of arguing
that is a fact that still has to be proven in a court of law.
So if you can prove that she lives there, then you get the constructive possession. Arguably.
Seems like she likely does.
That would have to be proven. Otherwise, without constructive possession, it's a little bit more tangential. The actual trial, I don't know. I would imagine relatively soon in the new year would be my guess. They're going to have a, assuming that they deny the plea, they're going to put it on the calendar in the hearing, I would imagine. There's some possibility that the trial gets delayed based on what Nick's wife is doing. the state may want to consolidate the cases. They might also want to try to consolidate with April, again, for efficiency reasons. So they might want to make this one big case, in which case, then obviously the slowest thing is the thing that's going to guide. So part of the reason that it's hard to say is because, well, do they want to consolidate in the interest of efficiency? Or does the defense even want to try to force the issue of consolidation? So it's hard to say for sure, but I would think February, March would be my guess, but it's just a pure guess. It's just a pure guess, and that date is open to change depending on whether or not the cases are consolidated. How likely do I think parole or probation will include a restriction preventing him from being on YouTube? 0. That would be an unconstitutional condition. Or stipulation prohibiting him from discussing his case? 0. That would be an unconstitutional condition. Once the case is over, in which case probation or parole, you're talking about a conviction. But
all right, I think it's much more interesting to see that Nick is back to tweeting again. He took a little bit of time off, but you guys, he's back. He's back to tweeting. So before this, his last tweet was November 17th, and it's now the 20th. He did this 39 minutes ago. You're fucking dumb, dummy. Oh, total win! Total win! You would have been so internally tilted and would have lost if you hadn't called him a dummy. And this is so he's obviously, the funny thing of it is too, is he's obviously following breaking Baldo news and looking at to see, what everybody's saying him. And so Blue Dog Democrat said, everybody has to dare him to go to trial. Tell him that he can't win. Tell him he doesn't have the balls to plead not guilty. Tell him he couldn't possibly win, especially pro se. His ODD will kick in and he will go to trial representing himself. ODD only applies to children. Rakita has ASPD. I think that, what is that? Oppositional defiance disorder? Let's Google that. Because that I thought was something he had said. Antisocial personality disorder. Oh, at any rate, it doesn't apply to just kids. And oppositional defiance disorder is something that starts in childhood. Got you. I just remember him saying that he had it, I don't know, but we know that he has a compulsion to do the opposite just for doing the opposite's sake. The guy purposely accelerated his drinking just because people were telling him to slow down. Unbelievable. And then, of course, somebody has to be like, why are you so obsessed with him? It's just creepy. You've decided that it's creepy because they're obsessed with the stupid shit that he does. But they're not any more obsessed with him than, say, people who are looking to see what some famous movie stars doing. They talk about him about as much as you might talk about Bruce Springsteen or somebody. So, yeah. So let's see what if he's gonna go on a sudden tweeting speed here. He's gonna recover the fact that he lost. Let's see if he's replying like crazy things. Oh, 6 hours ago, he did post that. They charged the endangerment before the test results. The test results don't make sense and have had no impact on the criminal case. That doesn't even make sense. That does not make sense. Someone's like, it's time for you to plead guilty. Shut up, nerd. Because he calls her by ear. To me, this entire comment does not make sense to me. How can you say it has had no impact on his case? That doesn't make sense. It's certainly going to have an impact during his trial. Because they're going to say, look, he says that it doesn't make any sense. Well, okay, but you've got to be able to explain it away, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that, unfortunately for him. So, I don't know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think I'm going to call it a night. I think that I should go and try and apply for a job that I'm probably not good enough at and get turned down for because I don't have the necessary qualifications. Which kind of seems like that's the way that it's going. But yeah. All right. So as we like to say here, everyone, the world may feel small, and you may feel the world may feel large, and you may feel small. But despite that, it takes all of us working together to make the kind of world that we want. You want the world to be a better place. Yeah, we can't do it without you. We just can't. It doesn't work that way. We need you. Because the world is massive, and we are small, but together we can do great things. All right. So God bless you all. God bless America. God bless our troops. And God bless Donald J. Trump. Bye.
I bring you dead mice, lay them at your feet. Purr softly in your lap, why can't you see? I've shown you my heart with every little purr. Yet you vote for Dems and I feel betrayed. How could you vote for her? Where's your heart? I ask for so little, but you won't vote Trump. I sit by the window, wait for you to change. But you look at CNN and I feel so small. How could you vote for her? Where's your heart? I ask for so little, but you won't vote Trump. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed. I've shown you my heart with every little purr. Yet you vote for Dems and I feel betrayed. How could you vote for her? Where's your heart? I ask for so little, but you won't vote Trump. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed. Can't you feel my pain when you praise Harris? Your votes have spoken and I feel betrayed.